Monday. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday. I am Amara Lee, your life coach, whether you know it or not. And today, my job is to make Monday your best day of the week. All right, so let's just automatically get started. Today, I am super duper excited because I have a wonderful, one of the most awesome people that you will ever want to meet. Her heart is just so genuine, and how she loves is just amazing. She has a wonderful, wonderful story. Her journey is inspiring for me. I know it's going to be inspiring for you. We have been talking about acceptance for the entire month of March, and I'm just going to have a brief conversation with her, and we are going to get another perspective on acceptance, what it is, what it means, how it has affected her life. And hopefully this will be some food for thought for you. It will be able to give you a little bit more insight of yourself. A lot of times when I know when I'm speaking or I'm listening to someone who is explaining their journey, a lot of times what they've been through, I can relate. I've either been through something similar to it. And there's been some moments that I've just actually sat there and said, wow, you are me. That is me up there. And so I want you just to kind of get ready today, get prepared for an awesome My Mending Monday. But let's just go ahead and recap. So we've been talking about acceptance and what acceptance looks like. And I'm going to go ahead and take my glasses off because the glare is irritating me. Okay, so looking at the word acceptance, a lot of times people think acceptance means that I agree with something. But acceptance does not necessarily just mean that to accept something or to receive something. The dictionary, I know if you look it up in the dictionary, it has many different definitions. The definition that I want to discuss today is to accepting something in order to acknowledge it. So just to do a brief recap, it has been a long month and we have gone several weeks discussing this. And I know that sometimes we can lose a lot of the information over time. But so I'm going to give you just a little bit of a recap on what it means to accept something. So by accepting something means you acknowledge it. You acknowledge that it exists. You acknowledge that something has happened. Sometimes I know we discussed in the arena of health and mental health and wellness that sometimes we can get some advice from the doctor, or sometimes we'll get a diagnosis that's saying, hey, this particular problem exists. You need this and this and this and this. Well, in that, our job is just to accept it, not meaning that I think it's true, not meaning that I think it's real, but I accept what I'm hearing. And you know that I love the word maybe or perhaps. It just means, okay, my blood pressure is too high. Yeah, I eat a lot of salt. I really do. And I stress a lot. And so just by accepting that means that you acknowledge it. And then you step outside of it and you say, okay, now what do I do with the information that I've now received? It doesn't mean that I've become a part of it, that now I'm claiming to be a diabetic, or I'm claiming that I have high blood pressure, or I'm thinking, okay, the sky is falling. This is death for real. I have cancer, or whatever it is that the doctor may tell you when you go to the doctor. But it's just saying, okay, Houston, there may be a problem. Same thing. Let's take a relationship. You can be in a relationship with someone, a spouse, a husband, a wife, and they're telling you a particular character flaw or something that's causing some rift or some discord in your relationship. And the first thing you want to do, of course, is deny. But in that moment where you say, okay, perhaps, maybe, this might be true. Well, in that moment, you allow yourself to step outside of it, then look at it again and say, okay, yeah, this is not the first time I've heard this. This is not the first relationship that this has come up in. This is not the first. So when you start realizing that these are some things that's kind of trending, then you can make a decision. What do I do with this? Then apply. I went at great lengths during one of our My Mindy Mondays just to explain how important it is sometimes to accept some things that we don't really want to look at, that we really don't want to kind of feel the pain that accompanies it sometimes. And so in that, we'll say, I don't accept that. I don't accept it. It's you, it's not me. This is your problem, not my problem. So we kind of start putting up these walls. And by putting up these walls, we rob ourselves of being healed. We rob ourselves of actually grabbing a hold of the healing that's there for us and getting better and getting healthy and becoming whole again. Going out there and finding all of those little fragmented pieces that came from all of these misunderstandings and all of these unacceptable things. If you remember, we talked about our unacceptable list and how we put all these things on our list of unacceptabilities. However, when we allow ourselves to kind of scratch one off, say, I'm going to deal with this month, scratch another one off, I'm going to deal with this one this month, next week, baby steps. In that, you then put yourself in the position to say, hey, I am going to acknowledge this thing so I can get better, so I can heal. All right? Awesome. So if you're just coming in, I am Amara Lee, and I am discussing acceptance today. And I have a special guest that is going to be joining us shortly. And let me see who is in right now. I know I didn't give you guys time to do any likes or shares or posting, but if you are in the room, come in. I will not hurt, I don't bite, and say hello to me. Put your name down in the comment section so I know who's looking at me, and give me some dialogue. I will not pick on you, I promise. But we are discussing acceptance. And in that, just knowing or understanding the things that is on our list of unacceptable things, sometimes they need to come off. Most of the time, they need to come off. We also discussed, I do believe someone brought up the topic of domestic violence. And in that, those are unacceptable and those need to stay on the list. So there's some things that, should be on your unacceptable list. So I'm going to go ahead and give a little bit of time for you to like and share. As you come in again, just drop your name, say hello to me, let's have dialogue, and I will be right back. You could go. All righty. So I'm hoping that you had time to like and share and all those things and get this on your page so that your people can see. Again, we're talking about acceptance. And, oh, hi. What do you mean? Wait, huh? Hi, sis. You were supposed to like and share. That was your break. That was your moment to jump in. Okay. But thank you for joining us tonight. So I am going to just get into it and introduce my special guest for this month. Her name is Moenique, and she lives in Las Vegas, and she has an awesome journey. I wouldn't do it justice to try to tell it for her, but she's an awesome, phenomenal Black queen, and I think she rocks. I really do. She's really becoming like one of my best people here. But so I'm gonna go ahead and, like I said, I'm not doing her any justice. So I am going to Just bring her in and you guys will see exactly what I'm talking about. I introduce to you Miss Moenique.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Omara. I just want to say thank you for having me. And if you need some help with this Mindy mind, I'll check out amoralee.com. I just had to tag that. But I want to thank you for having me on. And it's my pleasure. Anytime we can uplift and share, I'm there. So I want to say
Awesome.
thank you for that.
No, thank you for answering the call.
Oh,
So we've been talking about acceptance, but before we get into that, I do want to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to My Mindy Monday.
well, hey, everybody on my Mindy Monday. My name is Moenique, and my journey is not really different than anybody else's, to be honest with you. It's just the road I took to get there. And I think we all have a story, we all have a path. And for me, I'm a mother, I'm a friend, I'm everything that I know that I am now, that I didn't think back then. But I know now that I'm all those things that I want to do and be. So, I have so many things I would love to share, but I know we're limited. So what I will say is that I'm a woman that's been on a journey, and I've fallen, I've gotten back up, I've bruised some knees, some elbows, and all that. But one thing I have to say is that you can always get back up. It's never too late to get back up. And my journey is about getting back up and having hope and believing that I can and that I will finish this journey with strength, faith, and love for myself and those around me. So,
Awesome. So we have been discussing acceptance and what that looks like. And as I was doing the review of just this whole month, I mean, it was just so much. I know I missed a lot of really, really good nuggets, but it's not always an easy thing for people to do, to accept something, because it kind of breaks down that wall of defense, what you believe to be true, what you've told yourself, the story you've played in your head over and over again, that no, this is exactly how it happened, I know this is how it happened. And then when you end up face to face with a different truth, that's something that causes a lot of discomfort, and it can push you out of that comfort zone and say, okay, now let's look at some real truth. Let's look at the whole story. And when you start to look at that whole story,
you see a different perspective.
It's a different perspective. Absolutely. So, what has been your experience with acceptance?
Just learning that, accepting that I could be loved. That was hard for me to accept, because when you go through any type of trauma or abuse, your perspective, your ideas, your thoughts are totally different. So when people say I love you, I'm like, yeah, right. You don't really, yeah, okay. And for me, it was hard to accept myself, because so many things that I went through, I couldn't accept that I could be loved. That was something I couldn't accept. I couldn't accept that it was okay, the things that happened to me, because I always had a reason to keep me in the safe zone from being either a victim or a survivor. It was safe to be in the middle. And being in the middle keeps you stagnant. So when people say, hey, well, you need to get some help. Oh, I'm fine. I don't need no help. I mean, even you can attest to that, because, Amara's been my amoralee.com counselor. But it's hard to accept that, because it knocks you out of your comfort zone. It makes you look at yourself. And sometimes we want to hide from ourselves because there's so much in there. And to unravel, I remember a long time ago, we were at an event and they said, once you dig up like a plant, you can put new soil on top of old dirt, but eventually it'll come up. And when it comes up, then you're faced with it face to face. So either you're going to accept that change needs to happen, or you're going to look at it and say, I put more dirt, I'm not ready. So acceptance is really hard. And I'm the first to say acceptance is hard, because it makes you look at you. And looking at you, you either going to change or not change. And so what happens, it's up to you, and that is a hard, it's like a baby, they learn to walk. And like, come on, you can do it, you can do it. And they're like, oh, not yet, not yet. And then finally they get that encouragement where they say, okay, I can do it. And you let go and they start walking. it's like us as adults. You know, once
Mhm.
we accept those things about us, and for years people said you should get counseling. Oh, counseling doesn't work. Oh, this. And I had every excuse because I didn't want to dig up the old dirt that I planted on top. I mean, the dirt when I planted on top of it. And when I unraveled the layers, it was hard. It felt like mentally I was in a downward spiral. And, you know, and by me not accepting that I need the help and thinking that I could do it by myself, I caused myself a lot of pain. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's a hard road. It's a hard
You
road.
know, we talked about when you have one of the enemies of acceptance is denial, and you
Mm-hmm.
just spoke on just denial. You know, when you don't want
Yeah.
to accept certain things or see certain things,
Yeah.
you do this, or or you're like this, you know, just
Keep
I
doing.
want to see, right. I want to see what. And it can become denial. And after a while, you're like, nah, I'm just gonna stick with my version of the truth. It's comfortable. You said not too much to the left, not too much to right there in the middle. I'm
Yeah.
comfortable. I can accept a little bit of your truth and a whole lot of mine, and I'm comfortable. So that's I'm glad that you actually spoke on that. So I just do want to let anyone, if you're just coming in, this is my Monday, and this is our guest, Moenique, who is sharing her life journey with us and how she has dealt with acceptance. If you have questions, she is totally open. Yes, Moenique, for
Yes.
questions
Yes.
and
Yes.
answers.
Yes.
Okay, so if you have questions, if there's something that she speaks on that kind of touches you a little bit, that kind of nudges you a little bit, and you want to say something back, even if you're coming in and you're watching the repeat of this broadcast, leave the questions there. I will make sure that she gets them and she reaches out to you to answer them personally. Are you up for that,
Yeah.
Moenique, to have
Oh
that dialogue?
yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, awesome. So if you are coming in and you want to leave a chat, go ahead and do so. I will put them up there for her so she can see them as well. If you are watching this on the replay, leave the message. I will make sure she gets it and she gets back to you on that. Okay. So yes, were there any particular areas in your life that you just wasn't trying to deal with? Like you was like, I don't care if there's a truth, a lie, a half a lie. I'm not
my
going there.
my my rage. I was very I had a lot of rage. So people say, "Wow, you're so angry." I'm like, "I'm not angry. You just don't understand me." But it
Mhm.
was anger because it was pent up anger from abuse and trauma and all the things I experienced. I didn't know that they were just stacking. So when I would just go off, I didn't think of it as, "Oh, I got rage or anger." I just thought, "Oh, I'm just upset." But I didn't realize that that was something I didn't want to confront, because confronting that means I had to say, "Okay, all these things happen to you, and I have to deal with it. Okay, this happened, that happened, this happened." But when you deal with stuff that, especially rage and anger, that can cause harm to yourself and harm to others,
Mhm.
and you're comfortable with it because it's been how you've been for so long, um, it's hard to deal with. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm one out of billions. My favorite thing, but I'm one out of billions. So don't get me. But rage was hard for me because I didn't know how angry I was. When
Mhm.
people would tell me, "Oh, you're angry," I'd be like, "You're angry." That was my denial. You're angry. I'm not angry. That would be my defense. But
Uh-huh.
this journey has showed me that I have been very angry. And I didn't want to accept that because my anger kept me safe. So when you did something, I felt something, I could just get angry, and that'll make you scared and leave me alone. But in
Mhm.
actuality, my anger stopped people from being able to help me and me accepting the help that I truly needed. So that was a big thing. But anger was attached to so many things, like not love, loving and just feeling the feeling to be needed by yourself and by others in a way, not where I need you to do something for me, but the need to be able to let people speak into my life, the need for people to be able to speak to me and not me speaking at them. So I
Mhm.
would say that was one of the biggest things because You know, when you have so much rage and anger, you can't hear anything. You're so clouded. And it's not that you want to be, but things that happen makes that. And that's where when you learn to accept help and you learn to accept other people's opinions and ideas, doesn't mean that they're all true and they're all right. But like you said, just hearing, okay, you're angry. If I would have listened to that before, I could have sat down and said with myself, okay, you went haywire over somebody knocking orange juice over. It was a mistake. But you didn't have to go left. You didn't have to almost, so just different things. And so for me, that was one of the hardest things to accept. My attitude and my anger that caused me so much pain, you
Mm,
know. But when I sat down and I started looking at things, I said, "You are angry." But then my next question: why are you angry? How are you
mm,
going to get over being angry? What tools are you going to use to stop being angry? Are you now going to receive help that people have said so many years?
mm.
Oh wow, they don't know what I'm going through. How can they understand? But it's not about them understanding. It's about them giving me their ideas and their opinions on how to make me better. See, I didn't realize their remarks was to make me better, but I
Mm.
wasn't ready for that. So you have to
Right,
want to accept the help, and you got to be in a place to accept the acceptance of what you need. So
right,
yeah.
right. Hey, if this is at all something you can relate to, give us thumbs up. If you have a comment, say something. I'm gonna come and see if anyone is speaking in the chats right now. Okay, so it looks like you have somebody. So a couple of people who know you. That
I miss
is
you,
great.
man.
Hello, hello, hello. Um, you got Bradney. Love you, sis. So,
Oh,
um, so and let's see, Ashley, she says absolutely. So if you can relate, um, I know myself, anger was one of my go-to emotions. It's so much easier, or it was so much easier for me to be angry than to say you hurt me, that hurt my feelings, or
yeah.
to say, um, now I was told in one of my many journeys of one of my therapists from way whenever, she said anger is the result of not getting your needs met.
Hmm.
And so when you think about it in that sense, that you can be, you're angry because you're like that child, like you said earlier. You're like that child, and it's hard for you to first come to grips with what it is that you're actually feeling, and
Yeah.
then to be able to put words to that, being able to say, okay, um no, I wanted you to hug me. I wanted you to hold me, to be vulnerable in that sense. And if anybody ever been in a relationship and you were like, you're with your spouse and everything seems to be going great. And all of a sudden they withdraw, they got an attitude. You don't know what you did. You know, a lot of times it's because they don't know how to be vulnerable, to put the words to say, this is what I wanted, and you didn't give that to me. But because I don't feel safe enough, or because I have old things going on inside of me, it's hard
Rejection.
for me, right? Rejection,
Yeah.
the biggest one, the biggest elephant in the room. Rejection.
Rejection.
I don't want to just say, I wanted you to hold me all night, and you held me for a little bit and let me go and rolled over and went to sleep. you
Now you
know,
got a whole attitude. Now you're bubbling. You're thinking all kind of things. You lay on the side. You got. But you know what? TD Jake said it best. He said,
Mhm.
when a man comes home from work and he opens the door, instead of you just saying, "Baby, I missed you," you be like, "Dang, it took you long enough," but that's not what you really meant. You be like, "Baby,
Ouch.
I'm glad you're here."
Ouch.
But
Right.
because of a lot of rejection us as women have felt, a lot of hurt that we're still has residue of and that we're still dealing with, it makes it hard,
Mm,
but that's where you have to,
mm,
like you said, the acceptance come in, and you have to write down that list you talked about, and you have to actively work on those things, to see this is your life. No one is responsible for you. So if you
mm.
don't work on it, don't expect somebody else to work on it for you, because we all got problems and issues and residues of life. And that's one thing I had to learn.
And we're used to putting it off on the other person anyway.
Exactly.
So if you're waiting for me to help you, you've been waiting
Just
all day, because
you
it ain't my
dinosaurs
problem
might
anyway. It's your
resurrect out
problem.
of the
It's your problem, not my problem. And
Yeah.
I wanted to put this up here because and there's a question in the queue that I'm going to put up for you. But Teray said anger is especially acceptable in men above other weaker emotions.
Mhm.
So where, and I'm so glad he said that because, a lot of times, men, women get the bad rap of being emotional. You're so emotional. We all have the same emotions, all been given the same. We all have the same needs on just maybe
Exactly.
different levels.
Different
But
levels.
the needs are there. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be accepted. Everybody wants these things, but it's rare that we have accepted our vulnerabilities and we're comfortable with being vulnerable enough to hey,
Vulnerability is hard though, if you
yeah.
think about it, especially if you've been in any type of abusive situation from a child, from an adult, any type of abuse. It's hard to be vulnerable because with that comes along with trust. So that
Mhm,
means I have to trust you in order to be vulnerable. And a lot
mhm,
of us, we say we don't trust people, but in actuality, we don't trust ourselves because you have to trust yourself enough to know to say, you know what, I've been hurt, I've been through all these things. But if I can't trust me, and how can I trust somebody else? And if you can't trust somebody, if you can't trust yourself to be vulnerable with yourself, you can definitely not be vulnerable with anybody else or even trust a person. And
mhm,
that makes it hard. But
mhm,
a lot of people, we don't want to get help. And I'm not saying that to me in a negative way. We don't even know we need the help because we're so stuck on how we've been for so long that it doesn't compute that you need help. And that's why Many Mondays has been such a great, grateful avenue and place for me because when I hear something, I'm like, oh, that's a nugget of wisdom. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Let me write that down. Okay. Because it jogs your mind to make you say, you know
mhm,
what? That's true. Let me write down some of the things that are bothering me. Who
mhm,
thinks of every day what's bothering them? Because our lives are so busy. And with busyness, you don't stop to really self-examine ourselves. It tells you in the Bible, examine yourself, look at yourself. And we hear it, but with the acceptance of doing it, we don't always do it. But
right.
when you do it, then you start to learn more about you, learn about more of what you need to accept and change. That makes it easier for you to accept the help you need. Um, that's kind of I'm one in a million, million, trillion in this world. So, that's just my opinion. That's it.
Let's see. There is a question that was in the queue, and I wanted to put this up there for you.
Okay.
And the question is, how do you find the source of your anger? Or have you even found the source yet? Are you still on that journey?
Well, I say it's gonna always be a never-ending journey. But what the source of my anger was my abuse. It was the lack of my parents. That for me was hard. I had one parent, and when that was stripped from me, it made me angry. It made me feel like I was the problem. It made me enraged. So everybody that wanted to love me, I felt like in my mind, how can you love me if the people who had me didn't love me? So
Mm,
that rage would come, that anger. So even though they wanted to love me, I looked at it as love as a vice grip that you were going to squeeze what little I had. And so
mm,
when I realized that my anger came from being abandoned, rejected, not loved, not, you can go through the list. And, I got this book, it's called The Body Keeps the Score. And I started writing down, um, why was I so angry? And when I realized that I was angry because she left me, I was angry because he left me, I was angry because I had kids and it was so many things. And once you sit down with yourself, you got to be honest with yourself. And that is the only way you're going to find the source of your anger. You got to accept what's happened. You got to accept what you need. And once you accept those things that have happened, then you can sit down with yourself and say, okay, that I was angry there. How am I going to change that?
mhm,
Well, she left me. Okay, that happened. That's the fact. So what am I gonna do with those emotions? I'm gonna do what Omara taught me because this was one of the things that really blessed my spirit. You said it's okay to deal with it. It's okay to talk about it. But when you're done, you gotta move forward.
that's right.
Simple. So I realized why I was so angry. And I cried, I screamed, I cussed, you know what I'm saying? Sorry, Kurt, but I went all through all the emotions, you know what I'm saying? And then and then I said, you know what? I wanted to be happy. I mean, that was just the truth. I wanted to be
Mm,
happy. And in order to be happy, I had to find out what was making me so sad and so sick. And it was my anger, my rage, and my rejection. It was all of that. So when you can pinpoint to yourself, not to everybody else, what everybody wants to hear, but when you can sit with yourself and say, and write down those things why you're angry, first write why you're angry, then what was the source of that anger, then go to that source and say, okay, you pissed me off, you hurt me, you did these things to me, and I'm pissed, I'm angry. And then once you get those, when you cry, then I say, okay, I accepted this happened, but I made it through. I'm not a victim, and I'm not going to just survive. I'm going to live now. And when I realized those steps, because see, I was between a victim and a survivor. And something happened, I'm right back in the middle. I woe is
mm.
me. And I'm not saying that to anybody because I respect every person who's been a victim because I've been one several times. I respect all those who are survivor. But see, there's more than just surviving. And that's where we miss it. Once you survive something, you have to live. You have to live. Because if not, you'll be stuck in between a victim and a survivor. And that will be your niche to keep you comfortable. But we don't want comfortability because our stories will help someone else. Nuggets of wisdom. When you drop those nuggets like Omar does on my Mending Mondays, those nuggets are to help you accept those things so you can move forward because someone's waiting on your story to help them move forward. See, this is a never ending cycle of us helping each other and us speaking about those things so that we can move forward together and separately. And you know, that's the best way I can tell you how to find your source of your anger is to look inside yourself and work on you first. I hope
Awesome.
that helps.
I mean, I think that was explained very well. If that did help you guys give a thumbs up and let us know that um, that was helpful. Again, if you are just coming in, you just briefly like, wait, there's two of them now, two chocolate sisters on the screen. This is still My Mending Monday. I am your life coach, Omar Lee, and this is our special guest, Miss Moenique, and she is sharing her experience with acceptance and how she has had to apply it to her life and the difficulties that has come from that. And so I wanted to speak on something that you said once you have realized the source of your anger, to go to that source and say what you have to say. And um I know that for a lot of people that source is not readily available. That source may refuse to speak, may refuse to see that person, may refuse to acknowledge it, to even admit that any wrongdoing of theirs. Sometimes they will deny it. They'll put it back on you. They'll say that you did X, Y, and Z. Or there's so many people out there that's hurt right now and that are having a hard time with this topic of acceptance, mainly because the source is unattainable or inaccessible, or the source is in denial, if you will. So what would you say to someone who can't reach that source?
Y'all might laugh at me, but what I did was on my mirror, I drew a picture of my mother. And I can't draw, so it was a stick figure. Don't let me lie to you. But that was the best way. And I had to look at that mirror and say, you hurt me. You did
Mm,
so much damage to me, and I'm angry. And please don't break your mirrors. But I had to really just speak to it. And, I cried, I shouted because it wasn't accessible to me. But you have to figure out creative ways. And that was my way, because when I looked in the mirror, I seen myself looking back. But I also seen the figure that I made on my mirror. And when I was speaking to my mother and different people, it helped me because I didn't need her to speak back, because I didn't need to hear her rejection, her denials. I didn't want to hear none of that. And it wasn't just my mother, it was other people, but this is what I've done, for everybody. I draw whatever I can and I speak to it and let them know, you don't have dominion over me. You will not hurt me again. I am in control of me. I accept that this happened. I don't blame myself for what happened, and the things that I did do to myself, That's when I look myself in the mirror. You pissed me off. Why'd you do that? You shouldn't have did that. But then I go and say, you know what? It happened. You did that. Now what am I going to do about it? I'm
Hmm.
going to say that I love you. I'm going to say that I forgive you. And I'm going to say that I'm going to take this moment to cry and fuss and scream and cuss and whatever I need to do. But then when I wipe my face, I'm going to get my composure and I'm keep moving forward. Because if I don't, I'm going to be stuck there. And 5 years later, we're going to be on, and I'm going to be in the same. Life is about perpetually moving forward. And if you're not moving forward, you're stagnant and you're stuck. And either you need to accept some help or get some help. I'm just keeping it real.
Right.
It's either one or two, accept it or run for help. Because when you get to that point, you cannot see anything. You won't even be able to see you need the help. And that's a dangerous spot. That's when your mental starts breaking down on you. And I've been there where my mental is just every day is just it's just protruding out of my nose everywhere, just anger and and it's not a way to live. It's unhealthy. It makes you sick in your body. It makes your mind sick, and it corrupts those things that are good about you. And
Mm.
yeah, so that's my way. If you don't have somebody, create. Whether you write it down, you
Draw
create
a
it, and you
stick
stick
figure.
to it.
Get a stick
Hey,
figure if you have
you
to.
can draw it, and go for what you know. But hey, stick figure work.
I know that we do have Ashley in the house, and she is a therapist, and I would love to have her chime in on some other ways that you can kind of deal with facing the unfaceable
Yes,
culprit. I do know that they have you can write letters to the person and never mail it. You don't have to mail it or not mail it, but to be able to get it outside of you, when you
yes,
spoke to that mirror, it came out of you where you had been holding it, and that was could have possibly been what was fueling a lot of the anger, because there was no outlet. There was no one that was going to be nobody that you deemed important enough to hear you and to
yes,
listen, hear your words. And I think it's phenomenally awesome that you were the one that was most important that needed to hear it. A lot of times we're looking for that person that is important enough that's going to do something about it. That's I need justice. I need someone to come and make this go away, somebody to come and save me. But then when you look in the mirror and you realize that the one with the power to liberate you, to set you free, to catapult you into living again, as you so awesomely said, to live, you looked at yourself and said, hey, you're that important person. It's not a police officer, it's not a paramedic, it's not the offender. It's you. It's you. I'm looking in the mirror and I'm saying, hey, Omara, you're the one that has the power to liberate us. So let's go. Let's find the source. Let's deal with it. Let's accept that it was. And now let's accept a new truth now. And let's live. So Ashley, she did say something. And I did want to put this up here. And let me I'm gonna blind you guys for a minute with the glare. I'm sorry. It says absolutely comfortable is a mediocre state of mind. It's stagnant. Got to get past that comfort of surviving and coping and be willing to be comfortable to start living well.
yep, I totally agree.
She's such a therapist. I love it. I love it. Absolutely. To start living well. So she leveled up on us, Moenique. She said, so you were saying to accept it and then start living. And then she went another step and
Live
said,
well.
well,
And I
live.
take that as a
Well.
challenge for myself to start
Absolutely.
living well above just
Absolutely.
living.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love it. So living well. So that's, I'm gonna go back to a couple of um, broadcasts before where we discussed that unacceptable list.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that the more things you cross off of that unacceptable and begin to accept, wellness comes, because now you're having peace of mind. Now you're having closure. And I want to ask you that have you yet experienced any closure? I know it. I know that I know your story. They don't know your whole story, and so there's so many layers to
Yeah.
this to this to this grapefruit. It's so many layers.
Wow.
And so I know that there's going to be many closures. As you continue to grow, it's going to be many things that get closure. Have you yet experienced any closure?
My mother and my abusers, that has been closed because for years I lived in the shadow of feeling I wasn't good enough and that I didn't deserve, I deserved everything that happened to me. And when I spoke to myself or spoke to my mom and spoke to the different people in the mirror, it I was able to get it out, because I was one of those that I didn't want to go to counseling. I got too much in me for someone to even understand. But when I spoke to that mirror, it did something for me. When I started reading books on trauma and healing, and so I'm come to grips, and I've accepted what has happened. I accepted that I am loved. I deserve to be loved by myself and by others, and I've accepted that I'm okay with not being okay sometimes. That was the hardest thing. Because I always wanted to be perfect. I always wanted to be presented perfect because that means then people will like me, people will love me. But I
Mm,
realized just being me is okay. So I accepted just being who I am, quirky, funny, crazy, all that. I've accepted me. And that was a big thing for me because I didn't know who I was. My identity, I felt, was stripped from me. And so now I'm trying to find who I am, accepting this. And it was difficult. But now I can say, and I'm still working on it. So don't get me wrong. I still got them days, okay? But I accept, I accept a lot of my past.
mm,
I've worked through it. I still have those days, which I think people will always have. But I'm now, when it comes, I be crying like, oh, now I'm like, girl, quit playing. You good. Come on, let's keep going.
right.
I have to encourage myself
Mhm,
because that was a downfall. Anytime I spoke about my past, this and that, it over drowned me. And as you know, Mara, good things happen, and I still would bring up negative things to try to downplay the good things. And that's something you definitely helped me with. So now when I hear those negative things, oh, you don't deserve what's happening. Oh, you alive. I deserve all that in the bag of chips and some more. Give me my Cheetos and quit playing with it, girl.
right, right. Give me my
So,
flowers while I'm alive,
so
right?
yeah. So yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
still working on a few things, but I'm further than when I started. I'm further today than I was yesterday. That's what I meant to say. Because every day I'm working on something.
Mhm,
I started this fast at the beginning of this month, and it was about me learning me. It was about me learning to accept me. It was about me learning to love me, and that I can be loved, and that I can allow people to love me. Everybody's not out to hurt me.
mm.
So that yeah. Yeah, man, this is a beautiful journey. I mean, if y'all ain't getting on that bandwagon, come on, look at you. We got Celie, everything, come on. So yeah, I'm feeling good about um where I'm at. And I couldn't say that I say about 4 months ago. I wasn't.
Mhm,
But this journey has awakened me to something more about myself that I didn't think I could get to. But
mhm,
it's amazing. I feel amazing. I don't even know how to explain it. I have no words on how I feel about me. I love me. And I
mm,
couldn't tell you that. I could say all things else. I could dress it up, but I did not really love me. I love
mm,
the idea of me, but I didn't like the life of me. I don't know
mm.
if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
now I'm learning that it's okay. I don't have to be perfect,
Mhm,
and that I can work through things, and that everything has a solution. That's another thing I learned. That's good. That's one thing that was so good. That every situation there's a solution. A
mm.
lot of times we might find one. There's a solution to everything. You have to find it. It is up to you to find the solutions to whatever it is. And when you find it, people will come on and they'll be able to add to it. And you'll be able to grow. You'll be able to love. You'll be able to shine. And I don't know. That's where I'm at now. I'm loving me, and I'm loving what is coming next and what I'll find about myself next. And I'll take that head on too. So
And,
yeah.
and where are you now? Now that you have
Woo.
uh, now that you have ventured on this journey of healing and wellness, where are you? What where?
Um, you know, I'm I have a movie coming out about my life. I that's amazing in itself. It's called Bluebird. It'll be out from what we talked about later this year. Um, and that's a phenomenal journey, you know. So I got that coming out, which I'm so grateful to people who are inspired by my journey, inspired about my hope for my life. So that's one thing. I do have a nonprofit. It's called Love Inspired, and our mantra is where love speaks, which helps people who have been through all types of things. But it's helping right now. We're helping the homeless get their stimulus, you know, because no one tells people this. So it's just about helping. I feel like so many people have poured into my life and helped me. Some I accepted, some I didn't. But the nonprofit is about helping and giving back and letting people know, let love speak for you.
Mhm.
Simple. So
Mhm.
that's one of
Yeah,
my babies.
I love it.
Um, I have Woman to Woman, which is
Mhm.
a woman's group of phenomenal women with Omara, Jeanette, and it's just speaking. It's a safe place where we can speak and just let go, you know, and other women have nuggets of wisdom that you can drop on other people and other women so that we can help each other grow.
Mhm.
So that's I
And
love meeting.
when can they find you on that Women to Women?
It's on Thursdays, but if they go to the website that you've listed, they'll see all the dates and all the things that we have coming up. Yeah, so they can go to the website and then they'll show them a calendar of what we're going to be doing.
Mhm.
And, you know, I hope that we see some women there because everyone has nuggets of wisdom that they can, you know, drop. So,
Right, right.
yeah. And
And
then,
I let me jump in there real quick, just because, not because I'm a part of Woman to Women, but it really is awesome, because you get women, you come in and she encouraged you to bring your tea, your wine, your water, your chocolate milk, whatever it is you're gonna drink, and we come together as 30 powerful minutes, and she usually has like a topic, and we just kind of go at it. We just start talking and we feed off each other. And it's just, I mean, the energy is just really awesome. It's some wonderful, awesome women that come in there. And so it's on Thursday. So make sure you go to the website, woman2women.info, and get more information on that. I just wanted to just drop that little nugget in there.
I'm saying, hey, nuggets, nuggets, nuggets. They can be gold, silver, true nuggets. But and then the last one is you know, it was spoken to me that my voice would go to the nations like 7 years ago, and I'm like, how my voice gonna go to the nation? All right, you know, but you know, on the radio station, We Live Radio, my voice actually goes to the nation. I got somebody from Singapore today, and I'm like, Singapore, let me look that up. Where you at? But I'm just so grateful. And so it's a radio station in the morning, you know, we play gospel, all types of gospel. And then in the afternoon at 11:30, you know, we go into hip hop, you know, all that good stuff. Excuse me, all that good stuff. But what I love about the radio station is that it is a place where people can share their ideas, their voices, you know, and be heard, you know, because there's so many things that people want to speak about and share. And you know, sometimes we can't get on the big radio stations to do that. So We Live Radio, you know what I'm saying? Call that number, you know, and you know, call in and talk and, you know, listen to music and also join some of the shows that we have on there. And
So
really that's
wait, so you're the MC on this radio station, or you own this radio station?
what I own
I
the
just, I
radio.
just want to, I just want to be clear. Like, are you like a guest speaker, or what is
You
it
know
that?
what? Just call me a Jamaican. I'm all the above, okay? No, but you know, I have people who come on and do stuff, but you know, I love to get on there and do stuff because I'm so passionate about everything that I do that I like to express and talk. So you might hear me in the morning talking about, hey, do you like my journey? Y'all, come on, drop them good nuggets of wisdom, you know. So, you know, but I started this radio station 3 years ago when I left Chicago and I was on radio out there. And I wanted to just be a voice, you know, to the voiceless. There's so many people that have so much to say, but they're not able. So,
Mhm.
you know, we provide our listeners, organization, and movements with the voice. And that's pretty much what We Live Radio Station does. So, kind of in a nutshell, I got a lot of things that I'm doing, but I'm passionate about each one of them.
Mhm.
And if you ever have any information about any of them, you can always call the numbers or go on the website and chat and all that good stuff. But yeah, whew, I mean, it's so much, but I never thought I would have all these things on my plate. But I have to sit here and say that I'm grateful for each and every one of them because they've been a part of my journey. And this journey has been, felt like I was Jackie Joyner Kersey running for my life. Then, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Serena hitting them balls left and right, you know, but
So,
whew, I
yeah,
feel favored.
different journeys and require different tools along the way. And there are going to be those moments where you feel like you just, it is in that state of emergency. And then there'll be other
Yes.
moments where you get to relax and you feel like you in a hammock just enjoying the day. And then there'll be those other moments where you feel like you climbing uphill with the piano on your back.
And
So
heels, okay?
in heels, right, and 30 inches of snow, right. So it's part of the journey, and to be able to go through the journey and still smell the roses and still appreciate the weather and in the sky when it is blue, is maturity and experience and having a heart of gratitude. I have learned that as you go through life to be grateful for every moment that the sun is shining. When the rain stops, even if it's just for a little bit, you celebrate that. You celebrate that, because even the rain is necessary for growth
Yeah.
you know so I truly truly thank you. They had this has been so awesome. I wanted to put this up here for you. um Someone said it is so beautiful to see the new you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
You
so
know what? I'm glad to see the new me too. I'm not gonna lie, but all of us can see a new us if we just put in the work. Because we are so worth it. You are so worth it, and you got to take time with yourself. Because you're worth it. You're worth
that's right. And so you're getting hearts and 100% and
it.
minute 100. I told you she is a character, definitely. uh, and quoted that you have to live. Really like that quote, of living and not just surviving, as Ashley said, just coping and surviving and coping and surviving, that in itself, that journey is exhausting. It's
Yes.
exhausting just trying to cope and survive. And I'm so glad that you have figured out how to live. If you guys have any other questions for Moenique, please feel free to just go ahead and leave those in there now. Um, Let me see as I'm scrolling here. Oh, yeah, I did say that, Teray. We two chocolate sisters.
You know, I also want to say something to the listeners.
Go for it.
I think I want to say to you, Omar, you've been an instrument in my life for so many years.
Mm.
And just your tenacity, and you don't allow people to come with excuses. And a lot of people need that, because most people will listen to excuses and they'll never get to the point of why you need what you need. But one thing that I've learned about you, I can say, "Oh, Omar, stop." I'll be like, "Wait a minute, let me not." But I love that about you, because when you allow yourself to keep going into the stagnant and the same rehearsal of what you're used to, you can't grow, because now you keep feeding that into your brain. And one thing that I love so much about you is you have that ability to stop someone in love and give them good feedback, give them good encouragement, but it's in a powerful way to where you can say, "Hey, okay, I get that." And for me, a lot of people haven't been able to get through to me like that because of the layer on top of layers. And so I would hope I'm using the word right. Let me stop trying to use a big word, implore. But you know what I'm saying? I would tell anybody, if you're looking for someone who's going to give you the truth in love and give you good information to help you go forward, y'all need to check out omarlee.com. And it's not because she's my friend, she's my sister. It's because what she gives you is powerful, and it's big nuggets, like gold just being dropped, because it will change your life. And if we want to make our world a better place, we need to change ourselves first and then help other people change, so that we can make a world that's conducive for us all to live in and be safe and feel loved and feel accepted. you know? So I just want to thank you for this opportunity that you've given me, because you've given me more than just an opportunity. You've given me your friendship, but you also have given me some mental stability in areas that I wouldn't take from anybody else. And we've had this conversation, but because the way that you come about it and the way that it's just put out there when you're talking with someone, it touches people. So, everybody who's listening, Amara deserves the most highest esteem because she can break barriers. She was put on here to break barriers. God didn't mess around when He created this woman. He created her to break barriers and to touch lives. And that's what we all need to do. We are all an instrument, and you have to allow yourself to be used the way that God wants you to be used so you can touch millions. Because what you're doing now is your stepping stone to your O, not Oprah, but to O for Omara. So I just say thank you, and I appreciate you, and I accept everything you have to offer me, because I'm ready. Because I want to be in my hammock in green pastures. I'm so ready, and I'm going to keep forging forward, and so should all of you, because we are worth it. We're all worth it, and that's all I have to say. I
I can't. I'm gonna humbly say thank you. Thank you. It's always a challenge to work with you, and it's always a pleasure to work with you because you stretch me as much as I stretch you. You keep me reading, you keep me studying, for sure. And I am just so 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 very um uh I can't really express just how proud I am of you. I really can't take any credit for it because I can talk all day. If you didn't do anything, then it would have just been words. So, but I am just so, so proud of you, how far you've come. And I mean, the movie, I can't wait for
Ooh, can I cabbage patch on that one? Ooh,
that.
let me double it up.
So, beauty from ashes, man. Beauty
Ooh.
from ashes. And so I am very, very proud of you. I really am. And I thank you so much for just being courageous enough to come on and guys, she's gonna come back again, and because her story, I couldn't write it. I swear, I don't even know how this movie is gonna put it all into one thing. But I really, you guys keep looking for her. She'll be back. I'm going to have her on here a few more times. I promise you. And so, here's Teray. I'm on it. I'm on it, Teray. Wait. Let me try to, let me get it all on there. Okay. So I don't think I'm supposed to put that one up there. Let me see. Where is it? But you guys know I am always looking for an opportunity just to show you someone that's not myself. I can come on here and talk and talk and talk and talk, but I wanted you to be able to see one of your own, someone that's in the trenches with you, just like you, who's doing the same thing you're doing every day, getting up, striving, doing the work, putting in the work. And like she said, it's not easy. Every day is not going to be, super simple, and every day is not shining. It could be super duper sunny outside, but on the inside, it can feel like you're dark and you're all by yourself, you know. But when you learn to find the gift, as she said, it's your job to find. She said it's her job to find the solution, to find the gift, to find that ray, of sunshine, even though it's raining, even though it's cloudy. You guys all know that I believe we are created to dominate. That's everything we need is inside of us. Everything you need is inside of you. And all you have to do is tap in. I am not the painter. I provide the canvas. I just show you where the paint's at. Whatever you want to paint your life, whatever you want it to look like, it's up to you. You pick and choose what colors you're going to put on your canvas. You step back, you look at what you've put in, and whatever you see right now, is the work, it's the evidence of the work. And so I truly, truly thank you guys for coming in. And again, if this did affect you or touch you, there you go, Teray. I got it up there. This is where you can find me, omaralee.com, or you can call, schedule your free 30 minutes session. It's not anything that is etched in stone. You don't have to sign away one of your children or give a blood sample. It's just a 30-minute consultation, just a conversation. You know, we'll sit and we'll talk. And if there's anything that I can help you with, I would be more than willing and happy to do so. I will be back here next Monday. We are always looking for someone. Again, if you have your own story, if you think that you are ready to share and be a blessing to somebody else, just like Moenique did tonight, then please feel free. Put it in the comment. Let me know. Say, hey, I want to come and I have some things I want to say. You know, I've had my own journey, and it's been helping me as well. And we would love to have you on. Moenique, thank you again
You
so,
guys.
so much. Your journey is, you're just barely starting, and to already have felt this lift, this weight, this heaviness lifting in 4 months. I'm looking at you and I keep hearing that song, you know, what a difference a day makes, 24 little hours. You know, your life, your journey has been long, but just in 4 months to feel that, you know, to feel that lift. So imagine what it's going to feel like in a year, 2 years, 3 years, to be so far removed from your pain. I can't wait. And I'm so, so excited for you. Guys, we will be back next Monday, same time, 6 o'clock till 7. I am Omari Lee, our special guest, Moenique, here today. Moenique, thank you again for coming. It has been such a blessing to have you. And we will see you guys back again next Monday. Bye, guys.